Hey there, this is LaQuita with QuitabugHandmaids.com, and thank you so much for joining me today for another Stampin' Up! Tutorial. I am excited to share today's project. It is actually one of my sketch challenge projects, so I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And we're actually using two stamp sets today. We are using the Daisy Delight bundle. This is available in my online Stampin' Up! Store. So the punch coordinates with the stamp set, and when you buy the bundle, you actually save 10%. So it's a really, really great deal. So we're using that, and then we're also using the Colorful Seasons stamp set. We are using this You Make Me Smile sentiment. All right, so we are doing Quitabug Sketch Challenge number 3 today, and as usual, this PDF will be available over on today's coordinating blog post, which I've linked to just below the video in the description notes. You can download this. It is totally free to you, and I've also included sample measurements. You don't have to use these measurements when you create your project, but these are the measurements that I used, so this can be kind of a starting point for you. But what I love about sketch challenges is you don't actually have to recreate your project to look just like this sample. This is just an idea of a layout. So you can look at this layout and let it inspire you to create a project however you'd like. You can copy it exact, or you can just take elements of it. That's the beauty of sketch challenges. They just open up your creativity, and I love them. So here's the project that I created from that sketch, and I did decide to go ahead and just copy the sketch exact. I really like how this turned out, and I haven't used this stamp set quite as much as I wanted to because it was on back order for so long, so I was excited to get to use it. And I really love how my card turned out. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll share with you how to create this card. All right, so I've got 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock here for stamping. This piece is just a scrap piece that I'm going to use to stamp my little daisies. And this piece is going to be for the stem of the daisy as well as the sentiment. And this is cut down to 2 inches by 4 inches. So I'm starting with my Daffodil Delight, and that's what I'm going to use to stamp my little daisy image. So I'm just going to ink that up and stamp 2 of these, just like that. Now I'm going to bring in my Old Olive, and I'm going to stamp the center of both of these, just in case I don't line it up on one how I like it. I've got another one to choose from. Only one of them is going to actually show on our project, but oh well, I actually did a good job on both. Oh well. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp the little stem as well in the Old Olive. Okay, and just line that up with the bottom of my Whisper White, so right about there. Okay. All right, now I've got my basic black archival ink to stamp my sentiment, which is You Make Me Smile, and I am just going to do a test stamp of this. I always mess up the first time when I use this archival, so I always test it out. Okay, much better. So now twist, twist, tap, tap. Now I'm going to stamp that right down here at the bottom. Right about there should be good. Okay. Now I've got my daisy punch, and I'm just going to punch these out. Need to trim that off here. Now carefully slide that in. There we go. Line it up. Punch it out. Okay. Now I'll do the other one. I'll probably have to snip this off again. All right, so now I'm just going to bring in my bone folder, and with one of my flowers, whichever one you're going to have go at the back, you want to curl those edges using your bone folder. Curl the edges of the petals. That's just going to add some dimension when we put it onto the layer. So just curl those over very gently. You don't want to pull these little petals off. And then the top one, we're just gonna leave that straight. It adds a really unique look when one's curled and one isn't. I love the dimension of that. So we're gonna do it just like that, okay? So now I've got some layers here so we can start putting some of this together. So I've got a piece of old olive cardstock, and this is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I've got some of the Delightful Daisy, I think this is Delightful Daisy, designer series paper. And this is 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And fast fuse will adhere that down. So now I've just added some fast fuse to the back of my stamp layer. I'm going to adhere that to a piece of old olive cardstock, and that layer is cut at 2 1/4 inches by 4 1/4. So just like that. Then I'm just going to wrap some of this old olive mini chevron ribbon right around this layer, and I think I'm going to put that right over here and cover that little leaf right there. Yeah, that should be good. You don't need much, which is nice. Flip this over, little fast fuse on the back, and then just wrap this right around and stick it down. For my card base, I've got a piece of Whisper White thick cardstock. This is cut at 8 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and I've scored it at 4 1/4 inches. And I'll just crease this. And there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and add this layer right on top. All right, just added that with fast fuse, and I'm going to do the same with this layer. You just want to center that up right in the middle here. I think right about there looks good. And I'll just use some glue dots to adhere my flowers together. Okay, and we'll just put the straight one, not the one we curved, we'll do the straight one on top of the curled one, just like that. And one dimensional on the back, right in the center. There we go. And just pop that at the top of your stem. Let's see, right there, I think. Yep, right there. And there we go. Look at that. That finishes the card. I just love this card. And then of course I had to decorate my envelope, so I went ahead and stamped my daisy on the front, the same as I did on the card. And then on the back I added some designer paper to jazz up the envelope flap. So I actually took this exact pattern and I just flipped it over and I put the reverse side of the pattern onto my envelope flap, and it just adds a really nice contrast there to the designer paper that's on the card. So I love how that looks. Okay, don't forget you can head on over to today's coordinating blog post and download your free Quitabug Sketch Challenge number 3 PDF. And I hope that you guys enjoyed today's tutorial. I really love how this card turned out. And don't forget you can purchase any of the Stampin' Up! Supplies that you saw me use today over in my online Stampin' Up! Store. It's linked just below the video in the description notes. And over on today's coordinating blog post, you can also find a full list of the measurements for this project, as well as all of the supplies that I used. So thanks again, you guys. I'll be back soon with another tutorial. Bye now.